to the Republic of Bulgaria.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. From the outset, I myself would like to thank the organizers of this event and to express my sincere thanks as the ambassador of the Republic of Cyprus in Sofia, in Bulgaria, for the unwavered efforts by the two chambers in promoting and enhancing the business, trade, and other aspects of economic prosperity throughout these years, and of course during the very difficult period of the pandemic that we have all faced. Mr. Angastiniotis has already mentioned the visit by the President of the Republic of Cyprus in 2020, just a few months prior to the explosion of the pandemic, which during which visit, with the initiative of and close cooperation of my dear friend Tsvetan Simeonov, the Embassy of Cyprus, and all the businessmen based in Sofia, both Cypriot and Bulgarian, we managed to establish the Bulgarian-Cyprus Business Association, and for that we consider it to be a great success. So from the outset, I would like to thank the organizers, the Cyprus and Bulgarian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, not only for inviting me to this very important meeting on building business economic relations in 2022, but also for the unique opportunity to address a speech to a distinguished audience. The small yet dynamic Mediterranean island of Cyprus, famous for the warmth and hospitality of its people, is experiencing challenging times amidst the pandemic and the war in Ukraine, but continues nonetheless to be an attractive location to live, work, and invest. The island's sophisticated but simple lifestyle, coupled with its exceptional business infrastructure, has proven a winning combination. Located in the Eastern Mediterranean at the crossroads of Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and Africa, Cyprus's strategic position has played a key role in shaping its history and in developing the island into a center for trade and business with countries from all over the world, including Bulgaria. Despite being a country of less than 1 million, Cyprus has steadily built itself into an international business center. The island has much to offer in these terms, with its well-educated workforce, low-cost business environment, with a wealth of support services, a sophisticated ICT infrastructure, and an investor-friendly tax regime backed by almost 50 double taxation agreements in an EU-compliant domicile. But Cyprus has not only developed a vibrant business center, it is also one of Europe's favorite holiday destinations. The bilateral relations between Cyprus and Bulgaria can be characterized as friendly, based on trust and solidarity. Obviously, Bulgaria is an important partner and ally to Cyprus. The prospects, therefore, for further development of our bilateral relations are enormous, and the political will is evident. The progress of cooperation between our countries at the political, economic, and cultural level shows the way to enhance and deepen our well-established bonds. Cyprus and Bulgaria are countries that offer security, economic stability, tax and investment incentives, modern infrastructure, and specialized human resources, characteristics that make them investment destinations for many foreign companies, even now that the pandemic and the war in Ukraine has influenced the business climate globally. Surely there is room for further promotion and development in other areas, such as energy, new technology, research, and innovation. The continuous upgrading of trade and business cooperation between Cyprus and Bulgaria can be an essential lever to improve the efficiency and competitiveness of their economies. The presence of Cyprus and Bulgaria in the European Union strengthens the prospects of business cooperation and expands the single economic space with investment and economic opportunities for both countries. Despite the costs incurred by the COVID pandemic and the ongoing costs that are felt worldwide by the war in the Ukraine, Cyprus trade with Bulgaria in 2021 was at a very good level for both markets. Specifically, Bulgaria is amongst the top 20 export destinations of Cypriot products. At the same time, the Cypriot market seems to prefer Bulgarian products. As a result, Bulgaria is in the 15th position in the import of products to Cyprus, followed by the US, India, and the UAE, amongst others. In numbers, and to confirm all the above, the total exports of Cyprus to Bulgaria increased by 19.5% in 2021, for the first time in a number of years. Domestic exports of Cypriot products in 2021 increased by approximately 24% to 14.7 million, while re-exports also boosted by 12%, placing Bulgaria in the 23rd position of countries exporting products for 2021, followed by Poland, Spain, and Romania. On the other hand, the imports of Bulgarian products to Cyprus for the same year amounted to in excess of 100 million, showing an increase of about 41% compared to the corresponding period of the previous year. The reason behind this total trade figure increase between the two countries is due to the uninterrupted promotion and support of the Cypriot exporters by the ministries and authorities in Cyprus in cooperation with their counterparts in Bulgaria. This is a reward to the efforts made in order to further strengthen the trade contacts between the two countries, which even in these adverse conditions show signs of recovery. Dear friends, Cypriot businessmen have already intensified their efforts in Bulgaria and the region specifically in service sectors such as education, land development, real estate, construction, maritime support, hotel and insurance companies, law and accounting firms, and lately intellectual property. It is of utmost importance to further encourage cooperation between entrepreneurs and companies in general of the two countries in order to make full use of the opportunities that have been created in Bulgaria and in their neighboring countries over the years. Bulgaria is a unique way out for Cypriots because it offers the space for more investment and development, as well as a way to expand in the Balkan Peninsula. Respectively, many Bulgarian companies have expanded in Cyprus in order to simultaneously reach MENA markets. The sectors that have always been of particular interest to Cypriot and Bulgarian companies today, in a period of energy crisis, are those of exploring, transporting, and storing natural gas, green energy from renewable energy sources, and maritime transport. Cyprus traditionally emphasizes in the services sector, which is growing steadily with sound results. The fact that Cyprus today is a well-established regional business and investment center is mainly the result of the variety of quality services offered. All in all, Cyprus and Bulgaria must maintain their efforts to promote commercial activities in the energy sector, which seems to be of great importance nowadays for countries in the Eastern Mediterranean region, in renewable energy sources, maritime connections, tertiary education, tourism, as well as in pharmaceuticals, metals, and agricultural products, including cereals. The essence of such friendly relations with our fellow Bulgarians is to share best practices and further our commercial activities in order to be more competitive in an ever-demanding and challenging trade world with benefits for both countries. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the very, very best in this excellent initiative.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. At this point, I would just like to outline something that I forgot to mention in my opening remarks, that the event is being recorded. Now we move on to His Excellency Mr. Lyubomir Todorov, who is the Ambassador of the Republic of Bulgaria to the Republic of Cyprus. Your Excellency, the floor is yours. Your Excellency, I think there's a problem with the microphone. We can't hear you well. We still can't hear you. I think His Excellency is having some problems, so that we don't delay any further. I think we can revert afterwards, and we can move on to the presentations part of this session, starting off with Mr. Andreas Pitagas, who is the President of the Cyprus-Bulgaria Business Association, and who will present the new opportunities and ways of collaboration for Cyprus. Mr. Pitagas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Menelaos. Good morning to all. It's a pleasure to present to you today, who have selected a number of matters which I hope you will find interesting. Let me share my presentation. Can you all see it?
Yes, all good.
Good, thanks. So, Menelaos, thank you for the introduction. I'm Andreas Pitagas. I'm the president of the Cyprus-Bulgaria Business Association, and as well I'm a partner in the Baker Tilly Southeast Europe, with main responsibilities covering being an audit partner in Cyprus and thus talking to a number of clients, and as well being an executive member of the management of Baker Tilly in Bulgaria, which gives me a unique perspective on both countries and businesses from both countries. Let me say a few things about Cyprus first. Some are a repetition to what His Excellency Mr. Ambassador mentioned from what you see on the slide. I will not focus on those. The primary matters are Cyprus, an island on the corner of the European Union. Right? We are a small island with about less than a million people, 800,000. And with primary currency being the euro, which is something very convenient for all businesses. Full member of EU, of course, and a place where it's very welcoming to business. Right. The economy of Cyprus is going quite well in the recent years. The GDP is growing, unemployment is reduced. Of course, inflation is going up like everywhere in the last couple of months, but we have a stable outlook, and all indicators seem to show a positive future. Why should somebody bother with Cyprus and consider investing in Cyprus? First of all, the strategic location. It's at the corner of Europe, where it's a good hub to connect Europe with Asia and Middle East. Also, the country has very good workforce, skilled people who are usually university graduates and can really support any business. And we have a legacy strong legal system coming from English law, which again, it's very convenient for business. We are a business hub. There are many companies from worldwide that have selected Cyprus as their headquarters, and this has led for a very nice environment in the island, both in terms of cosmopolitan lifestyle and a good quality of life, and has driven cost down for businesses due to the efficiencies that historically have passed through the way the island works in order to facilitate business. As I said, low cost of doing business. Right? Some of the primary areas that a business will see when they consider where to invest are these four pillars, which I consider Cyprus is very attractive in all four of them. Labor costs are very reasonable compared to other EU countries. The premises, where it's a primary cost for many businesses, are very well priced. And the business community in general is organized in a fashion that it's very welcoming to foreign business. And in general, the cost of living is very attractive for businesses that select to actually move operations or move people to the island. Of course, Cyprus is known for its good tax efficiency, right? Well, our tax rate is 12.5%. It's higher than the 10% of Bulgaria. However, compared with all the other tax incentives that exist, the real effective tax rate enjoyed by most companies is much lower than the 12%. And with a strong network of tax treaties and a number of other tax incentives, you can, any company can enjoy a very low tax, a very low effective tax. This is not a tax seminar, so I'm not going to bother everybody with going into specifics of the tax incentives. I have presented some of them in the slides, which I guess will be shared with the participants later, and happy to elaborate if somebody wants more information on any of them. Focusing on the quality of life as well, as it's important in business. Instead of me mentioning a number of things, we selected a few quotes to present to you from various publications and various organizations around the world. Value Penguin considers Cyprus as a top 5 in terms of safety. We see Knight Frank, a top 5 in terms of retirement destinations. In terms of climate, second best climate in the world. And a lot of blue flag beaches for anybody who is interested in tourism. Of course, we are here to talk about business. So let me present 5 areas which are interesting which we have seen that attract primarily foreign investment. So I've selected these 5. Of course, there are many investments coming to different areas of the economy. However, I will present to you these 5, and if any one of you is interested on more details on any other area, happy to elaborate. Tourism. Well, Cyprus is known for the tourist industry. There are millions of tourists coming to Cyprus every year. The tourists arriving every year are multiple times the local population. And this is a strategic area for the government as well. There's a national tourism strategy, which is now it's until 2030. However, this is a rolling strategy, and we see every year the tourism being the number of tourists every year exceeds the previous year. It's an interesting area for investments. A number of investments are done both in terms of hotel units, also in terms of restaurant or other hospitality and entertainment area around tourism, like leisure parks or other investments. We see marinas now are being built on a number of areas in the island, around the island. And this is an area where investments historically are coming to Cyprus, and they are just we just see more and more of them. Right. Shipping, right. Cyprus, again, due to its location, it's a strategic shipping hub. Right. We have even created lately in 2018 a separate ministry which focuses on this. Cyprus shipping industry is quite significant for the size of the island. And if you consider that we have, compared to our size, however, regardless of our small size, we have the third largest fleet in the European Union and the 11th largest fleet in the world. And however, in addition to having a number of ships registered, all the main ship management companies worldwide maintain offices in Cyprus. And thus makes this a great center for people to cooperate between them, those that are interested in the shipping industry. Of course, given that Cyprus is followed as well with a very interesting tax structure, where there is a tonnage tax system which allows for very low taxes on people who are within this industry, and it's very attractive. This is a scheme that is approved by European Union, and it's effective until 2030, and most probably this will be renewed as well. Cyprus is a professional services hub, right? This is not only in terms of attracting investments, however, it's very important, I believe, in this presentation, because people need to understand that when they're coming to Cyprus, they should expect and they will receive excellent support from all the professionals in all areas of industries. It's from banking to professional services. Everybody are known and are servicing thousands of international companies which have selected the island for various activities. And we are used to doing international business in Cyprus, right? The banking system is used and is structured to follow and help international businesses. We just start, right? It's mandatory for any business to properly operate. Regardless of taxes and regardless of everything else, there are many countries where if the banking system doesn't understand international business, it's very difficult for you to actually do international business. Also going to focus on investment funds because it's one of the latest incentives and industries that are have significant expansion in the island. We see Cyprus, although it was never a traditional hub for investment funds, over the last 10 years, a number of legislations have been adopted and have drawn significant investments in this area. Many investment funds have been set up, and Cyprus was the first one to adopt the EU directives on the alternative investment fund managers, which makes creating and managing funds quite more easy compared to the traditional fund managers that we see exist everywhere. The latest statistics by the local Securities and Exchange Commission is 11 billion assets under management, and we see almost 300 funds and about 100 management companies. And I couldn't leave out the energy sector. Firstly, regarding renewable energy, right, and photovoltaics, which is the most commonly used source of renewable energy. Well, starting by Cyprus having 300 days of sunshine a year, well, solar energy and investment in renewable renewable energy from the sun, well, it makes sense, and we have a lot of sun, so it's we have seen a lot of investments coming in for investment in photovoltaic parks, but also we see wind energy being quite used in the last couple of years. This is an area where we expect a lot of investments in the future. There are grants from the government. The European Union as well is pressing the government, like everywhere in the EU, to expand the renewable energy capacity. So anybody who's interested in this field is should also expect to receive support from local authorities in order for its investments to move fast, and possibly some grants as well in the near future. What is also important is oil and gas. Well, we are all aware of what's happening with Russia, Ukraine, and in Bulgaria. Well, you are living it with all the gas situation, but in more detail than us. Cyprus has identified oil and gas reserves in its exclusive economic zone. There are discussions for a pipeline connecting Cyprus to Crete, Greece, Italy, and all these resources to move to European Union. So this is an area that we expect in the future will have significant investment driven directly from European Union and the governments. And of course, anybody in the private sector that relates to these industries is something that we believe will find very interesting. Right. That's it from me. I will not take up any more of your time. If anybody wants more information, happy to assist. And let me also say that I will be in Sofia in 2 weeks. If anybody wants, we can discuss in more detail on any of these matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pitakas, for the illuminating presentation. There's been a slight reshuffling in the original agenda because of unforeseen technical issues. So I was informed that Mr. Simeonov is having a difficulty.
I think I have a connection, maybe. I just want to make a test. Do you hear me?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Yeah. So at last, we succeeded with the technical problem.
Yes. So I think we will move on to the opening remarks by His Excellency. The floor is yours.
Good morning to everybody. Dear Mr. Christodoulos Angastiniotis, President of the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Dear Mr. Tsvetan Simeonov, President of the Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Your Excellency, Marius Kountourides, my dear friend. I would like to emphasize that the excellent bilateral relations between Bulgaria and Cyprus in the political, economic and social field are forming stable base which business societies of the both countries can use to enlarge the bilateral commercial and economic cooperation. We all now are facing the post-COVID-19 challenges, but in the case of the economic and commercial relations between Bulgaria and Cyprus, there is a positive effect. There is a growing interest in 2021 and 2022 of requests of Cypriot companies to establishing partnerships with Bulgarian manufacturers. This tendency has to be supported on institutional level by the governments and particularly by the Bulgarian and Cypriot chambers of commerce and industry. The business cooperation between Bulgaria and Cyprus during 2021 had improved, especially in the commercial turnover. The data issued by the Bulgarian Statistic Institute shows that for the 2021, there is an increase in the level of bilateral trade by 70% compared to 2020. As trade between Bulgaria and Cyprus amounted to 369.3 million euros, which is the highest level of bilateral trade registered between the two countries in the last 20 years. Bulgarian exports to the Republic of Cyprus during 2021 amounted to 235.3 million euros, increased by 27.8% compared to the same period in 2020. Cypriot exports to Bulgaria had increased by 75.9% and amounted to 134 million euro. The rebirth of the Cyprus-Bulgaria Business Association that took place in 2020 was one of the main goals of the Bulgarian embassy in Cyprus. And even though it happened during the hard times of COVID-19 pandemic, both the embassy and the Cypriot Chamber of Commerce and Industry succeeded to establish the fundamentals of the Cypriot Bulgarian Association. New vision, and it is needed this process to continue step by step in order to support the bilateral economic relations between both countries. Cyprus-Bulgaria ICT conference in 2020 that took place in December 2020 was a good initiative that established the basics of the bilateral cooperation in the ICT sector. With the support of the CCCI and the BCCI, this cooperation has to be improved and enlarged in order to accumulate bigger social and financial income for the business and the people in the aspect of the forthcoming years of digital transformation in the European Union. The development of the digital technologies and their penetration into all spheres of the economic and social life enforces a rethinking of the approach to exploiting their exceptional potential to increase the competitiveness of the Bulgarian and Cypriot economies, increasing demand and supply and efficiency of public services, and successfully overcoming the main social challenges in the period up to 2030. Energy industry is one of the economic sectors in which the bilateral cooperation could be improved. Considering the nowadays European Union policy and the challenges in front of whole Europe related to the plans to lower the energy dependence from Russia. The business communities in Bulgaria and Cyprus should play a proactive role to promote new initiatives to the both governments in realization of renewable energy projects and natural gas transportation projects. CCI and BCCI can play a leading role in this process. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It was great to hear you. Now, before we move on to the Bulgaria side presentations, I was informed that the president of the chamber, of the Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce, is not able to attend due to technical difficulties, but Mrs. Mariana Tancheva from the chamber will make some remarks. Mrs. Tancheva, can you hear us? Okay, there seems to be a problem in general with the chamber's internet. So in that case, we'll move on to the presentations, starting off with Mr. Julian Balchev from InvestBulgaria agency, who will present opportunities in Bulgaria. Mr. Balchev, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I hope you hear me.
Absolutely.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. On behalf of our executive director, Mr. Bogdan Bogdanov, I'd like to thank you so much to the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and Industry and to the Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry to this kind invitation to take part in today's forum. Our agency is under the Ministry of Innovation and Growth, and our main role is to support the investment projects. Right now, I'll start sharing my presentation, so I hope that you see it on your screen. Can you confirm me that everything is fine?
Yes, everything is fine. Yes, yes.
Everything is fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again. So we are based in Sofia and we are covering the whole country. As I mentioned, our structure is supporting the investment process, and we do our best to have the companies, our office to have a meeting or to have online meetings to discuss the structure, to support them and to start their business very, very quickly in our country. A couple of words about our activity last year, and then we'll go forward. So we have supported 31 big projects in 2021. The total investment of those projects is more than 1 billion Bulgarian level, and they have created more than 2,600 new jobs. Later on the presentation, I'll show you how the investment incentives, the government investment incentives, are used by the companies through us. So the main process is when the investor comes to Bulgaria, they apply to us, they fulfill application form, and after that they get a certificate from our agency, Class A, Class B, or Priority Investment Class. And after that, they can use all the investment incentives according the Investment Promotion Act. So I'll start with some good things about Bulgaria. So we are in the top 10 countries in the world with the fastest internet. So the companies which establish in Bulgaria the activity, they can rely on this very fast connection with the internet. So we have very smart and talented people here. So you can rely on people speaking foreign language. Each big city in Bulgaria has a language school, and so the people there, they're studying at least 2 foreign language. So there is no language barrier for Bulgaria. Also, Bulgaria ranks on 3rd place in terms of cultural and historical heritage in Europe. So that means both investment and the life is a very good combination in Bulgaria for the companies. At this point, our strategic location, or very quick to the all the companies started production here. They realized that our climate is very good, our incentives are working very well, and they are making expansion of their businesses in a very short time after first step of the production in our country. We have stable credit rating in Bulgaria, so our currency is pegged to euro. We have fixed rate, and we expect in the next 2-3 years, so the deadline is 2024 to enter the Eurozone, but everybody know that it depends on the indicators of the country. Some other macroeconomic data. So the annual GDP growth also for 2021 is 4.2%. The foreign direct investment in Bulgaria for last year, they are 1.2 billion euro, approximately 2% of GDP of the country. Unemployment rate is lower than the average of the European Union, around 5%, and we have an increase of export last year. So this is a main indicator that our economy is moving on the right way, despite of the effects of the COVID-19 and currently the effects of the war in Ukraine. So the latest report of our Ministry of Finance shows that this year our GDP will grow by 2.6%. So it will be lower than last year. Taxation rates, as my colleague said, we have Bulgaria has only 10% corporate income tax and 10% personal income tax. This is flat rate and very good incentives for the companies to establish here. Our VAT is 20%, the general VAT with some exemption. Also in some areas of the country where the unemployment rate is lower than the average in Bulgaria, we have 0% corporate income tax for the reinvested profit. So the cost of living in Bulgaria, they are, let's say, very attractive also. We have selected here for the cost of living for one person, for family. And so on the next slide, we have these figures city by city for the companies when they choose where to make business in Bulgaria according to their expectations, so they can calculate these figures in their plans. On this slide, we suggest the level of the office space rent. So you see In the big cities in Bulgaria, it starts from 14 euro, the top level, and goes down depending on the city up to 7 or 7 euro per square meter in on the Black Sea coast cities, Varna and Burgas. So the companies could have very good rates here in Bulgaria. Our country has very strong educational system. Our Ministry of Education is making new innovations in this field, new reforms, and we are going on the right way. Also, they put efforts to make a strong reform in the also digitalization of the process with new technologies at schools. So this gives the right picture. You see after that many companies of IT sector or BPO sector, they're choosing Bulgaria because of the talent of the people, the creativeness of the people, and the atmosphere. Let's say this educational structure, which is very well developed in the country on one side, and on the other side, our potential, which all these Bulgarians chosen to study in Western Europe or in United States, they after that prefer to come back in Bulgaria and to work for very well-known international companies. So here you see the figures. We have very well-developed network of universities in the country. So we have approximately 50 universities, more than 50 universities in Bulgaria, and the companies can rely on those people for their future plans in Bulgaria. On the next slides, we present you the main sectors with potential to invest in Bulgaria. So they're targeted by the government. The first point is automotive and mechatronics sector in Bulgaria, which is growing very fast in the last 10 years. So we have right now more than 300 companies working in both sectors with annual turnover more than 5 billion euro. And as a country, we expect that very soon we'll have just project right now. We have production of electrical vehicle in Bulgaria. So currently this is on the paper and hope to start working on the project this summer. Many of the companies you see on the slide, they're producing the automotive parts in our country. So you see 80% of the sensors in all European cars are made in Bulgaria. So we have very huge potential, but currently the companies are working suppliers for other countries and producers of vehicles. Another important sector is mechanical engineering in Bulgaria with a very good history in that sector, with more than 500 companies working in that sector and more than 40,000 people employed in that sector. As I mentioned, IT and BPO sectors very fast growing in the last 10-15 years. So the full-time employees are reaching 90,000 people. So we hope very soon to have 100,000 people in the sector with annual turnover of 4 billion euro. And we have more than 6,000 IT and BPO companies in our country. The next important sector for investment is electronics and electrical engineering in Bulgaria. Bulgaria has tradition in this sector, also from the history. On the next point is biotechnologies in Bulgaria. So we have potential also with more than 1,000 biotechnological companies in our country. Also, we have a very strong potential in the renewable energy sources. So this sector is developing very well, and we have many projects to be realized in the next years in this sector. So the next point is R&D. So the government is investing lots of resources to grow and to make a new research and innovation in our country. Maybe the next is also important, despite of the last position, balneology sector in Bulgaria. We have very good potential in this balneology sector with 1,600 mineral springs in the country with very couple of words about governmental incentives in our country. As I mentioned in the beginning, when the company gets certificate from the Ministry of Innovation and Growth, after they can use the investment incentives measures in our country. This includes short, this is the rate is approximately 19%. That means so the government is paying back the social security payment of the workers for up to 2 years and up to 1 year in the big cities, the people. So this is up to 1.25% of the total cost of the education of the new workers of the companies. And of course, there are grants for big and important investment projects for our economy. So, as I mentioned, so the investment incentives before we put on the slides. So they are in the 3 groups: priority investment project, Class A and Class B. So you have the chance to see later in the presentation. On this site, we show you the unemployment map in Bulgaria. You can use the blue zones, the blue color, the tax regime, which is 0% for the reinvested profit, as I mentioned in the previously in my presentation. Finally, we have 5 points why to come in Bulgaria. What we offer, this is stability, educated and skilled workforce, easy market access, reduced cost and risk, and very good government incentives for potential investors. I would like to thank you once again for this kind invitation to take part in today's forum, to wish success to all the companies, and to knock to our door 24 hours. So we're open to you and to support you in your business initiatives in our country. So thank you so much. We have a small short video, so we may ask the organizers to turn it on. Thank you so much.
For every beginning, there is a place to live, a place to grow, a place to move to, and a place to move you. Today, you're taking the first step to that place. A place which connects you to the Middle East and Russia without ever leaving the European Union. A place of great connections where the internet is amongst the 10 fastest in the world. Everything moves fast in this place. A booming economy with low operating costs and a corporate tax of just 10%. A smart place with smart people. People who top the global charts in mathematics and rank 3rd in the world in IT specialists per capita. people who communicate with the world. 1 in 2 speaks at least one foreign language. This place is a vibrant global software development hub, an industry growing by 30% year on year. The automotive sector is also driving in the fast lane, helping 90% of the European cars move. And there's more. More electrical manufacturing, more mechatronics, more mechanical engineering, electronics, innovations. More is moving forward in this place. Until it pauses. Just for a moment. And then you dive into 14 centuries of cultural heritage. You are dazzled by the stunning natural beauty and never get tired of its diversity throughout its 4 seasons. You fall in love with this place of abundance, where half of the land is arable, fertile, clean, and rich in mineral water. So move forward and be moved by Bulgaria. Take the first step and let us welcome you with strong institutional support and attractive business incentives. Invest in Bulgaria. Move to be moved.
You ever wondered what actors and actresses do?
Thank you very much, Mr. Balchev, for the insightful presentation. Now, before we move on to our last presentation, we have Mrs. Tancheva from the Bulgaria Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mrs. Tancheva, please.
So, first of all, thank you very much that you have unmuted my microphone so I can speak in front of all the participants. As a co-organizer of this event, dedicated to the enforcement of the economic relation, first of all, I would like to greet all the participants on the behalf of our president. He registered at the beginning, but he was on his way to the president of Bulgaria office as he had a meeting, and I think the link has broken. So he wished personally to welcome you, but unfortunately still the digital opportunities are not working so well. As I heard a lot of things about a lot of economic facts, trade investments between Bulgaria and Cyprus, I would like just to mention some new possibilities which open in front of the businesses for future cooperation. At the moment, we're facing a lot of challenges, but it is said that challenges very often are possibilities for new ways of cooperation, born new ideas, and open new niches. When I am saying challenges, of course, I have in mind the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, because still the future of pandemic is not quite clear for us. Will it turn us back to a lot of restrictions, or we will live as we lived before? Also, we have another crisis. It's the energy crisis which is facing us. We have a lot of tasks which were stated by the European Union as greening the industry and making Europe till 2050 neutral and Europe without carbon dioxide emissions. It's a very ambitious task, and I think that nevertheless we have a lot of time. As it is an ambitious task, we have a lot of other possibilities, opportunities for enlargement and boosting the cooperation between Cyprus and Bulgaria. We have seen both the presentations of the Bulgarian Cyprus business associations and our investment agency. They gave a lot of facts. They also gave the real picture of what we are doing now, but I think we have much more possibilities for the future. And just some words about the chamber. We have a long cooperation with the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The first agreement between our two organizations was signed in 1993. In the years, we organized a lot of initiatives, always with the only aim to enforce the cooperation between Bulgaria and Cyprus. I would like to mention that in our everyday life, we are helping about 218 joint ventures between Bulgarian and Cyprus companies. As they're registered in the chamber. The chamber is the only organization which is registering trade offices of foreign companies in Bulgaria, and also have a lot of joint ventures among its members. How we can help the businesses? Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry is keeping a voluntary trade register and keeps data for more than 6,500 companies. The data is always recent data. So we are saying that the chamber is a reliable partner what regards getting information for the business climate of Bulgaria, and also establishing contacts with Bulgarian companies for different kind of economic activities. We organize a lot of missions, participation in fairs, exhibitions, organization of exhibitions, and many other events which will help companies to make contacts. So thank you everybody for the organization of this event today. I really believe that it will give us, it will born new ideas, until it will open new niches for boosting the cooperation between the two countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well, Mrs. Tancheva. And last but not least, we move to Mr. Vladimir Tomov, who is the president of the Investment Council at the Bulgaria Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and who is going to present the Investment Council to us. Mr. Tomov, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely fine.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be today at this very interesting event. I remember our discussions 2 years ago, just before the COVID crisis, when there was a very big delegation from Cyprus during the meeting between the two presidents of our countries at the Chamber of Commerce. And we have started discussions for the real estate investment in Bulgaria, because many of the Cypriot business investors have done serious investments in Sofia, in Varna, in very high quality real estate development. Our investment council at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry collects banks, investment funds, investors, investment agencies, and financial institutions in order to support the business in Bulgaria and abroad with various financial instruments provided by our members. That's why if foreign investors would like to invest here, they can find very interesting financial instruments in form of bank guarantees, investment, private equity, venture capital for startups, etc., that are provided by our members. And the previous speakers have discussed and presented many of the areas where we can join forces and investment in Bulgaria and abroad. But I would like also to focus on another area that maybe is very interesting for and very specific for our developments. Bulgaria becomes a regional hub for investment funds, very strongly supported by the European Investment Fund, who has a program for creating 2-3 new regional investment funds located in Sofia. And I think that this is additional area where we can work together, because Cyprus has a very long and very good knowledge in managing various investment funds. And I would be very happy to meet Andreas Pitakas in Sofia when he comes here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well, Mr. Tomov. We are now in a position whereby we finish with all our speeches and presentations, and I would like to thank both our esteemed speakers and presenters. As I can see from the chat, there are no questions imposed, and as such, hopefully this event has been both informative and educational to everyone who attended, and I would personally like to thank everyone who attended this event, and we are concluding it now. And I will hope to see you again in the future in any events which the two chambers will organize in association with the Cyprus Bulgaria Business Association. Thank you very much. Have a great day.